Alright, finished up Limitless by Mimi Anderson. It's her second book, and I would say right off the bat, um, with this being her second book, definitely read or listen to her first book first, and then this book. They are they are sequential, um, and some of the things she talks about in this book do go off of the first one. Even though it is a different story and different aspect of her life, um, you still really do need a little bit of the backstory from the first book to understand some of the stuff in the second one. But this second book, Limitless, it more focuses on her journey to run across the United States and break the world record of that. And that's what the primary focus is. I would say 75% of the book is about that, how she got started in that, how she was getting sponsors, like her crew, what her crew needed, what her crew was going to do, um, building up beforehand, and some injuries that derailed her original plans and pushed her back like a year because she had knee surgery, it was a meniscus surgery. So she got she had surgery, so it got pushed back like a year and stuff like that. But she ended up getting some more sponsors and like better gear and some travel, like an RV and stuff like that. And you just see how she like built her crew to support her and the things she needed along the way, like massages and stuff like that, and looking out for her. Just her journey in general to get to the United States, because she was going from California to New York, and she actually scouted beforehand the routes she was going to take. Because I guess you could, from my understanding through the book, if you run across the United States, you don't have to follow the same route as the previous person who broke the record. You can pretty much choose your own route. So that was kind of interesting, because there was another woman that was attempting to break the record starting a couple days after she officially started her journey, and she was on a different route. But when she got over here, she was doing pretty good for a pretty long time, off over 1,000 miles. Then she started having some minor issues with her knees and stuff like that. She ended up having to quit. I think it was around Indiana. I think was her last state. Because it was just getting too painful, and she went to the doctor, and she was running bone on bone in her knee. And she made the decision that she didn't really make it, but she was more or less forced to make the decision, even though she came to the conclusion that she needed to quit. For her own safety and well-being down the road, to quit and not actually go for the record anymore. But before that, as she was actually attempting it and still doing pretty good, was really nice to hear just some of the encounters that she had and the things that she went through along the trip, like getting people to sign off that they did interact with her for Guinness World Records. Some of the gracious people that gave them like coffee and cinnamon buns and donations to her charity that she was raising money for, and she acknowledged those people along the way, and some of the other people that helped and ran along with her for some miles. So even though she's not from the United States, just the United States in general, supporting her along the journey for breaking wanting to break the record, which is kind of awesome to see how gracious people were in the United States. I know at one point, I do remember she was getting chased by a dog, and the owner didn't seem to care, but that happens to every runner, I guess, at some point. And then you could tell how devastated she was not being able to break the record, and how of a hard decision it was for her and like the crew to accept that that it was over because they didn't know what to do with themselves either. But when she went back home, she actually fell in love with biking. She was never really a biker, just like she was never really a runner before she started. And she excelled at that. She was doing a bunch of races, and it talked about her doing some bike races, people downing her there, and then getting in the tries, doing some triathlons as well. It's a very good story. I didn't do any research beforehand to see if she actually finished her trek across the United States and broke the record. I wanted to be surprised. So obviously I spoiled that for everybody. If you're reading this review, she didn't make it, but it was just good going in not knowing. I'm sorry for ruining it, but and just hearing the details, and then like how she pivoted from that to biking and triathlons and still crushing it, because I feel like she's one of those goats of ultra running and tries and biking. Just really one of the greatest of all time goats, women athletes in the world, or at least that we've ever seen. And I think men and women will really enjoy this, her story, not just the second one, but also the first one as well. I even think, like from a woman's perspective, I do think women will enjoy it a little bit more. But me being a guy, I really did enjoying it because I could actually like feel what she was going through and some of the stories that she told within the book, and side notes. Like I really felt captured by it. So I don't think you're going to be disappointed at all. I think this is a good read or audiobook for you to listen to. But please listen to her first book as well. First, I've listened to the audiobook. And I think it actually probably helps a little bit more that somebody's reading it to you in an audiobook form. So it's like, well, you know how audiobooks are. The story's getting told to you, but it's like you almost feel like she's telling it and not the narrator itself. You feel like you're immersed in her story, and the narrator is actually telling it through her voice. So that's kind of nice, because sometimes narrators are pretty bland and make you just want to like turn off the audiobook itself. But this narrator kept me captured the whole time, and I think it will capture you the whole time and keep you immersed into the book for the entire time, and actually let you feel what she felt in general. I guess that's the best way to put it and keep it short. So definitely check out Mamie Anderson's Limitless book. You won't be disappointed. But also check out her first book first, so you understand things that are being said in the second book.